Hi there. My name is Emily Green, and I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about the brickyards. So the brickyards is basically what you saw there. It's like where we were working with the bricks, where we built the filtration system and all that. And so for me, I kind of joined the team a little later on. I wasn't even in town when all this transpired, but I got to meet the team about a week before we left, and I got to go there. And the way that God used me and the way that he was glorified was through talking in Spanish and talking to the people in the brickyards. And so I got to translate a lot for the team and for the people in the community who would come up and ask what's going on. And I think that the point that touched me the most was when a woman came up who her husband was abusive. They were living in a home that wasn't exactly none of the homes are good there. Anyway, she came up to me and she was trying to translate and saying, "Look, you need to help me, you need to help me, you need to help me." But she was drunk, and she had this baby with her that we had been working with all day. And we had been holding her, and Gabrielle was playing with her, and Jordy and Jessica were just having a really great time with her. And the thing that hit me the most was just how much this place needs Jesus and how much they just need the love of Christ to come in. This woman was hopeless, and she was just begging and begging and begging, and we couldn't give her what she wanted at that time. But through the water, through the filtration system that we provided here, it's providing children and it's providing families with just an ability to drink clean water and then also come to know Jesus through the ministry that Jaime and Sandra are doing there, which is just amazing. We did on a Saturday morning, we did like a VBS type of thing where we educated some of the youth about just the Bible, and it was really in depth. It's not how you would normally see a VBS. The kids would sit there and be really attentive and just wanting to learn and trying to take it all in. And they would ask questions, and it was just so great to see because all these kids are coming from homes just like that woman who came up and was talking to me. And each and every one of these children just needs this love, and I think that's just what hit me the most or just affected me the most. So, yeah.
I'm Patsy, and my daughter Jessica and I went together, and she regrets not being here tonight. She had to work. I asked Jessica what one of her highlights were, and it was the day that we went to on the Compassion Day. It was the first Wednesday that we were there, and we got to meet the youth group's sponsor child. Her name is also Jessica, and she, I found, was very, very polite. Micah had taken a backpack, and she went through it, and my Jessica took her a backpack for her and her sisters, and she went through that. And then when it came time that I had taken a bag for her parents, that she took it and she just set it aside. And I guess that impressed me a lot about her and how she's being taught to be respectful. And I did kind of see her a little bit later taking a sneak peek, but she didn't go through it, so it was kind of neat. So anyways, we went to a beautiful park after we had lunch and enjoyed the kids. Jessica really hit it off with Jessica, but there was a little girl there named Wendy, and Wendy's mother is part of the Compassion program there. So anyways, she really hit it off with her. She wanted to bring her home, so we said no. We were very, very thankful for the nice day that it was. As the rest of the team, there was only 5 members of our team that went to Compassion Day, and the other 6 went to the Brickyard, and they did quite a lot while we were gone that day. So I just want to make it known that we want to thank Jeff and SJ for feeding us very well during the Brickyards. So.
Hello, I'm Rachel. I might cry. I'm not even talking about the trip. Okay. I'm talking about our traveling. It took us 2 days to get there by airplane, obviously. It took us 2 days to get there, and it took us 2 days to get home. We had a 12-hour layover in Panama. So we took a beautiful tour of Panama. We got to see the Panama Canal, and Panama's just gorgeous and warm. That was fun. Traveling was hard for me because I was sick going down and coming home. But it still was fun to be with everybody, and it was kind of a good time just to talk about the trip. And yeah, sorry. The place we stayed was gorgeous. It was like it was an old house, but it's in very good condition, and it's got like surrounding barrier walls to keep us safe. And we have a little man outside that guards the house. I felt very safe where we were staying, and yeah. I don't really know what else I'm supposed to say. We ate really well. I enjoyed all the food. Well, besides one night, but that's all right. We went out quite a lot, and then we hired this cute little Bolivian woman, and she came into our house, and she cooked for us, and she cooked traditional meals, and that was fun, and she just made good food, and she was so sweet, and yeah, I guess that's it.
Hi, I'm Nathan, and I was on the team to go to Bolivia, and it was an amazing time. We got to see God do some amazing things. On days when some of our team members weren't feeling well, we had extra help from people that were visiting or whatever that we had met, and it was just amazing to see God supply our needs. We were there for rainy season, and we only were delayed half of a day for the rain, and that was just amazing to see that. There were a few days where it would rain, or you could see it rain far off, but we never actually had any delays because of that for the most part, and so that was just amazing to see God do all that. And by the time that we had left and we had installed our filter the last day, we had the pastor of Jaime's church come, and he gave us each a little notebook with a pen. And inside the notebook there was a verse, Hebrews 6:10, and it says, "God is fair. He will not forget the work that you did and the love that you showed him by helping his people, and he will remember that you are still helping him." And that was just a great way to close the 2 weeks that we were there, and so thanks.
When I was first asked if I'd like to go to Bolivia, I looked at the numbers and I saw that there was no way I could possibly afford to be able to go. And thanks to a lot of people here at the church that generously gave and sponsored me, I was able to go to Bolivia. And it was an amazing, amazing trip. The thing I was looking forward to the most when going to Bolivia was to meet and see all the children. And that was amazing. I just fell in love with those children. Like Emily said, there was a family where both the mom and the dad were often drunk, and we saw those kids a lot, and that was just very touching. Like, I just wanted to take them home. I don't know what mom and dad would have said about that. Just took a bunch of kids home. But despite how poor they were and the condition of their homes, they were always so happy, and they were just full of joy, and it was what really touched me when I was there, to see how happy they were. The property that we were building the house on belonged to Sandra and Jaime, and before we left, they gave us each a bookmark, which also had a verse on it. And mine was in Psalms 34:1, and it says, "I'll bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall continually be on my mouth."
Hello, everyone. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the VBS. They run it every Saturday. It starts around 3 and goes to about 6:30 or 7 every Saturday. So Sandra, Jaime, and their daughters run this program, and it really surprised me how well run it was, and I guess just the instruction that these children were giving. We were seeing, when we were there throughout the week, we would see maybe like 10 different kids coming at different times to spend time with us and to play and be twirled around and lifted up over and over and over and over again. But for VBS, there was like 80, 100 children coming out, and they were being preached the gospel. And what a blessing that was for us to be a part of. The first Saturday that we were there, they just kind of threw us in, I guess, and expected us to understand more Spanish than we certainly could. And then the second Saturday that we were there, that's when we took more of a leadership role, and I got the chance to lead some crafts with children, and we got to lead some music with the kids, and just really play with them and love on them. I know my goal was just to hug as many of them as I could, and I think I got quite a few. Anyway, it was just such a blessing to be able to be there, to know that they are learning about Jesus. None of those kids can say that they've never heard his name. They're learning verses and really what it means to be loved. So that was definitely a blessing for me.
I'm SJ, and this is my husband, Jeff. Hi, Mike. How are you? First of all, we would like to thank each and every one of you. It would not have been possible if you guys hadn't contributed with prayer, monetary contributions, anything along that lines. To me, it was a privilege that I got to go. I've been there before, but with this project, definitely a privilege. When you have a project this size, there is a ton of unknowns and concerns which you have before you go. I would have to say that I could not have gone with a better group than what we went with. These guys, the work that we got done is astonishing. I think we hit it out of the park. I think everybody was probably shocked by the amount of work that we got done. We left at 9 o'clock, and most days we did not return until 5:30, 6 o'clock at night. That's a long day, long, long day. A lot of manual labor, heat, all those things. No complaints. They worked. I can't say enough. Bolivia and what they had to offer to us, tool-wise and that, it's all manual labor. You moved rocks, you moved sand, you moved stone, you mixed concrete by hand, you moved a pile of bricks. You may have moved that pile of bricks 3 times, but you moved that pile of bricks. And Jaime, I can't say enough about Jaime. This gentleman took all this time off to work. He has another job. This is just his passion. He took his time off work to come and do this, and I don't think he was disappointed because we got the most out of every day that we were there. We were only there 9 days, actual work days on the ground at the work site, and I am going to leave the technical stuff up to my husband.
Yeah. Hey there, Jeff again. So I don't got a spreadsheet, Mike, to show you the days and schedules, but yeah, so obviously with the construction, everything has to go step by step. So we definitely did build it from the ground up. So we picked the rocks to put for the foundation. We poured the concrete, mixed concrete by hand. Some, I think, close to 30 to 40 bags of concrete. So, you know, a couple wheelbarrows of sand, a couple wheelbarrows of gravel, bag of concrete, mix it by hand with hose. So it was definitely, like Sarah Jane said, labor intensive. So I'm not sure how many of you tried to cut wood for forms with a hacksaw. It doesn't work so well. So it was definitely different that way. Again, have to commend the team. Like I said, we had to get everything done with the concrete. Obviously, it has to cure a day before you do everything. So we stuck it out usually, like Sarah Jane said, to 5:30, 6 o'clock at night to get the final pour done so we could go there the next day and start the next thing. So foundation first, we formed concrete for where the bricks are going to go. We laid close to 4,000 bricks between the well and the house. So the next thing was starting to put up the walls. We had people forming rebar, tying rebar. I'm not sure how many people have ever done that before or here otherwise, right? So it was all new to us, which was really neat. Again, Jaime and his friend was, yeah, we learned a lot of different ways to do stuff down there. We had to teach the skilled labor how to use a tape measure a couple of times. We didn't have a level, so, we had water in a tube that we, shimmied back and forth. So like I said, it was very interesting. So we built the wall, we poured columns, we poured a lentil on top. That was on day 9. We finished the lentil around the top with the rebar in it. We did pour a column out front for an electrical pole, which we will be getting, or I'm not sure if they've
I think it's
heard
hooked up.
if they've actually got the power.
I think so.
So it was like 3 weeks out to get the power. And then we had Sarah Jane and the crew, Micah and Emily, down by the well. Obviously you saw we started right from the ground, about 2 feet off the ground. We built that up. They were on Widowmakers, we'd call them, pail here, pail there, plank, shimmy up. So it was about 8 feet high by the time we were done. And that's about as high as you could get before we could actually start backfilling in the property. So that will come as we move forward, and Jaime moves forward on our behalf and for the greatness of the project. We had a filter, we put that in. We bought a nice stainless steel sink for them that we put in the classroom. We ran plumbing underground, thread it, because they didn't like to use anything cement. That just turned my, So we did get the water. We did turn it on. It was great to see. We had pressure there. We bought a new tank. They have an existing tank there, but we did leave connections for the future showers and bathrooms, toilets, and the sinks that they're going to put into place. They have all the material for that. We dug a trench going towards where there's going to be a septic tank. So like I said, we did a lot of work in 9 days. We were only, trimmed half a day there with rain. You can only pour so much concrete in the rain because you can only add so much concrete in to keep it from being too soupy. So it was interesting. So, but like I said, Jaime, just an amazing individual. Like the amount of passion he puts into this, and he was working there side by side. He probably outworked us all, and we were all working pretty hard. So. That's all I got to say. Thank you very much for everybody.
Doesn't that make you excited at least? Excited, Bob? Our youngest pastor in the world, 120. But it should make you excited. When you hear Hannah and you hear Pastor Terry and other missionaries that come and speak to you, you should have a passion. Oh, I've done good, haven't I? I haven't cried yet. You might have heard me sobbing a few minutes ago. But it should give you a passion to do something. When we were there last year and Faye Best opened her mouth, and if you know Faye, I always said Faye was a female like Butterfield. Pastor Terry. And she asked, why don't you guys have water? Where do you get water? This is where this idea came from. It was Faye Best last year. Faye wanted to know, where do you get clean water from? They had no clean water. They had to buy truckloads of water, and their water that's trucked in could be sewer water. So they had no clean water. So when I thought about this from last year until the fall, and I was away working at my helicopter job, and I thought, I want to go home in the fall, and I just want to do nothing. Well, most of you know I do nothing anyway, so that wouldn't be a stretch. Thanks, Brett. So I thought about that. I emailed Jason Neldert, our missionary on the ground, and asked him for help getting this organized. And I thought about what could we do? How could we do this? How could I do this? And it's not about I, it's about Jesus. To go and to change lives, to see joy. When we think about Paul has great joy. Not great joy for himself, but great joy of what Christ can do for you, what Christ can do for you. You should be excited. You should be excited about Jesus every day, excited about what you can do, about how you can transform lives, about who you are before Christ. To my shame, I'm not, most days. To my shame, I'm not. But this group of people who went and worked extremely hard to prosper a local people, to bring the truth and gospel of Jesus Christ, and to bring clean, fresh water and a transforming spirit to the place of bringing a renewal, it's a great and most wonderful thing. I want to read just a couple of quick scriptures. I had a real pleasure a couple of weeks ago. I got to go and speak in Macadam, and I spoke on Philemon, and I often think about Paul, and I think about Paul's heart about the brethren. And this is John now. And in John 17:8 it says, "For I have given them the words that you gave me, and they have received them and have come to know in truth that I came from you, and they have believed that you sent me." You know, we need to go and we need to tell others about Jesus Christ. And what I think about Paul is Paul's always longing to be with the brethren. When I hear Pastor Terry talking about going to Russia or going to India or Hannah talking about those things, when you go once, you want to go back because it's relationship building. It's about relationships, isn't it? It's about wanting to strengthen, wherever the picture went, it's about wanting to strengthen those relationships. It's a continuation of when I think of Jaime, and I didn't get to go this year, as you know, because I wasn't well. It's a continuation of wanting to prosper that relationship. And when Paul speaks at the end of his letters, all of his epistles, he talks about the brethren. And Philemon's a book of restoration. And I think doing missions is a restorative thing for all of us. It helps to restore the brethren here that can't go. You get to pray for it. You get to raise money for it. You get to talk and be excited about it at the very end of the day. Right, Bob? Excited. Thanks, Bob. And so, and Paul says, always at the end of his letters, this is Philemon 23, "Epaphras, my fellow prisoner in Christ Jesus, sends greetings to you, and so do Mark." And look that up. Find out who that Mark is. This is a restorative, wonderful work. Aristarchus, Demas, and Luke, my fellow workers. And so there were many fellow workers in this project this year. All of you. I thank Pastor Terry, who was early on board. When I looked at doing this year, I contacted Sarah Jane and Jeff first and asked them if they would help me to do this project. And then we spoke to Micah, and Micah was on board. And the Lord built this team because many times there were many different roadblocks for us, not only in team building but in fundraising, and the Lord provided each and every time. The team went and they were very successful. So we await now to see what our brother will do. And I, like you, the brethren, I long to be with him. Lord bless you.
Before I open up the Word of God here with you tonight, I do want to just publicly, again, thank you for your part in this. We could have not done this without the prayer of God's people and without you being good stewards of the money that God's blessed you with. It is all His, isn't it? And so we just have it for a time. And the best thing we can do with it is to pour it into His kingdom building and for His glory. So again, thank you for that. Trust the Lord would bless you. For me, a couple highlights were, I'm just super proud of this team that we feel the Lord has put together. And a lot of them had never done construction before. And just, after day one, I was just like, wow, they're really pulling their weight around here. This is amazing to see how hard that they are working. And I was pleasantly surprised to see how much the Lord was able to help us do, right? And another highlight for me is, we swoop in there for a week or two and fly back. And we're here in our comfort zone. And I know for myself, it's often more of a culture shock coming back to Canada. And just all the changes here. And realizing that we have tenfold what most people do there in Bolivia, and we are 10 times displeased with what we have. A lot of discontentment and not thankful for what we do have. Everyone this morning was able to wake up, turn on a faucet, turn on the shower, and not think twice about it, right? They don't get to do that. And I realize that I have so much stuff, I really do, and they have so little, but are often a lot more content than us. And for me too, it's just, so we come in there and we leave, and the people that are on the ground there each and every day, especially Sandra and Jaime, Jason and Patty, who were able to host us, the other workers that we're able to meet this year from this local church that have a burden for this area. Those are the ones that are there day in and day out. They're running a weekly vacation Bible school for this needy area. They even have some mothers come in and do some lessons, and they are taught some really useful practical things. I met a young man who finished seminary, just loves the Lord, and actually Lorna Bailey was a big part of him coming to know the Lord. First-generation Christian, Teo, and just has a love for the gospel, and I was just so encouraged to see that he's there teaching the teenagers every single week. They're getting taught really good biblical stuff, gospel-saturated, and I was just so excited to see that. Sandra and Jaime are new believers, and so I didn't know exactly how good the material was they were teaching, and so the team, we got together and we actually bought them some curriculum, Truth Seekers, put out by Awana, all in Spanish, and we gave them 2 years of curriculum, knowing that at least this curriculum will teach them creation to Christ, and I have no idea exactly how solid their teaching is, but I was really encouraged to know that they are focused on good biblical truths and on the gospel, and so they're in good hands. These children that come, 100, 150 of them each week, are hearing the gospel, and we can be thankful for that. And for me, a highlight again was just to encourage our brothers and sisters in Christ there. Sandra and Jaime, they're the ones that have a real burden for this area, and we were able to come alongside of them and encourage them. An interesting thing they mentioned to me was that they have a hard time getting people from their church to go to this area of the Brickyards to minister. I said, wow, I've seen that in Canada before too. Like, you know what, I don't mind witnessing to my coworker, but to go to this area to do street ministry or to go over in Dune Street and Wilson Row, no thanks. They struggle with those kind of things too. It was really interesting. It just kind of struck me. So they were so encouraged, I think. We just kind of gave them that boost of energy to keep going, right? And just for them to see that the water is there, they can drink it now, and the shower house is well on its way. I think it helps them to continue on, to not grow weary in well-doing.